Before we get to our show, here is a podcast we think you're going to love.
Ashley, do you know why feet and only feet keep washing up on a beach in the Pacific Northwest?
You know, Christy, I can't say that I do.
Well, neither do I, but I have a theory, and anyone who wants to hear it should listen to our podcast. It's called That's Weird.
And we talk about all kinds of weird shit. It's not just feet.
I'm so glad we don't just talk about feet.
Right? That would truly be the weirdest.
So, yeah, if you like weird topics, feminist rants, and the occasional F-bomb, you should listen to us.
We post new episodes every other Monday.
Find us online at that'sweird.org.
And subscribe to That's Weird on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello, 5 listeners. This is Perhaps It's You, I guess. Yep. It's an unofficial...
It hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed.
Despite finishing season 1.
Yes, this is our season 1 finale.
Wow.
We have watched all of Unsolved Mysteries on Amazon Prime. Well, the first season of it. We told you all about it. We rated all the mustaches.
All of them.
And here we are.
And we're here with a special guest.
Yes, we have a special guest today.
Say hi, special guest.
This is Cara. We have some listener stories, and she's also going to share with us some paranormal tales.
Yes. And maybe treat us to some sound effects.
Yeah. Also,
I like it.
She's our sound effects board. People have been sending in listener stories while we've been doing this, so we've got the very best ones.
We've been asking for them since like day 1 and have never gotten around to telling them. So here we are.
Yeah.
I did my best to
We
compile them.
did a few for Halloween.
That's true. We did. I remember that. So if you do not hear your listener story read today, send it again because that means that we lost it. Because I really did try and combine all of them. I tried to go out and I combed our email back like months to try and find them. And yeah, hopefully I got them all. But that's what we're doing today. Not Unsolved Mysteries, but Unsolved Mysteries adjacent.
Yeah. And if you have a paranormal tale or you solved a mystery or you once made out with Robert Stack,
please send in your story.
Perhaps It's You podcast.
Solved a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of people on Facebook saying, yeah, I found a treasure. Once I found $20 while I was walking my dog. I consider that a treasure. I think that was tongue-in-cheek, but I really do.
That's a treasure to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could all use some extra cash.
Absolutely.
As a child, I once found $100 going to the bus stop.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did your parents make you take it to the police
They
station?
did, and then the police station was like, well, there's nothing we can do. We don't know who owns this money. So I bought a stuffed giraffe and a little Barbie house.
How expensive was that giraffe and Barbie house?
Yeah, pretty expensive, I guess.
$100 only got you a Barbie house and a giraffe?
Well,
Maybe it was one of those big giraffes from FAO Schwartz.
no, it was not.
Oh,
and I don't
man.
even still have the giraffe. I wish I did.
Damn. That's too bad.
Anyway.
That is too bad.
I mean, it was exciting because I was a child.
Yeah, that's a real treasure. I was going to ask our special guest to tell us a little bit about herself.
Yes, that's a good idea. Cara, hi.
Hi. Hi, 5 listeners.
Yeah, introduce
And
yourself to the 5.
7 now because I told the 2 people at the coffee shop that I was going to be on a podcast talking about aliens.
Ooh.
And they were like, that sounds about right for you. And I was like, Well, I'm Cara. I'm part alien,
Oh.
part cat,
Nice.
part ghost.
Oh,
Wow.
well, this is the perfect podcast
Why
for
don't you host this podcast?
Yeah. I think a lot of people
Perhaps it's me.
go, perhaps it's you. I think a lot of people go, why is it Liz and Samantha hosting this Unsolved Mysteries podcast? And there almost isn't a good answer to that question. We just do.
It
just happened.
It just
and-
happened,
and
and
now-
you're going with it.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Exactly.
Is this a local podcast?
Sure. Yeah.
We have a
I'm
lot of
local
local
where you
listeners.
are. I'm
Yes.
a local artist and yoga teacher and person.
Wait,
You're not defined by your occupations.
That's true.
or you're
Yeah.
a humanness.
Cara is my yoga teacher. That's how I know
Yeah.
her. I'm sure everyone was wondering. So.
And we do have a lot of local listeners. So
Shout out South Minneapolis.
Yes. We're in the witch
Oh,
district right now.
Allegedly.
we've told them many times
Yeah,
that we're
people
in.
know we're in the witch district. They just don't know where. So don't come looking for us.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Except for the few kind listeners who I've given my address to.
Shh, no.
But that's not in Minneapolis, so sorry. It's gonna be hard to find me.
I'm just waiting until we get enough Patreon funds to justify getting a P.O. box. My childhood dream.
Or a whole studio, perhaps.
Well, yeah.
Whoa.
That's
That
a big jump.
escalated.
The Perhaps It's You podcast studio.
Yeah. I did have
Yeah.
a dream the other night that we got an office for some reason. I don't even know that it had a recording studio. It was like just an office.
Because we have so much office work
Yeah,
to
it
do.
was the Perhaps It's You office. I think it's because I went to IKEA and they had like an
Oh.
office-y setup. And I think that like
I
entered
need
my...
this.
I had entered my dream of like, well, I could just get everything I need for an office.
Did we
at
each have
IKEA.
our own cube in your dream?
I think maybe we did.
Oh, cubicles.
I know.
Open
Why-
workspace.
Why would
Come
I?
on.
We need beanbag chairs. A la
Why would
Ikea
I
or
make my
something.
own office and then put in cubicles for myself? That's a sad dream.
Seems sad. It does.
Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that. We should be talking about ghosts and
Ghosts,
aliens.
aliens, and things that go bump in the night.
So
Yeah.
should we start with some listener stories and then we'll interview Kara about her many paranormal
Let's do
encounters?
it. In fact, we actually had someone send a recording of their listener stories.
I'm so excited about this.
This is our friend Rob Christofferson, who hosts an amazing podcast called Our Strange Skies. You can follow them. I know they're on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not sure about Facebook, but I assume. It's a great podcast all about aliens. If you are a big fan of aliens, you definitely need to subscribe to this podcast.
If you are an alien,
Yeah, if you're like
Also.
Kara and you're part alien, then this is
Definitely for you.
need this podcast. I'm pretty sure we had an ad for Rob's
Yes, we did a couple weeks
a
ago.
couple weeks ago. So if you want some more details, but yeah, Our Strange Skies is the podcast name, and he sent us. He's had multiple alien encounters, which blows my mind.
He asked me to choose between 3 stories, and I was like, I'm not sure I can choose. So
What
I
were
think
your options?
it was a spirit named Jeff seeing a UFO in the
Jeff?
Jeff.
a spirit named Jeff.
That's like a.
Yeah.
Is just Jeff haunt a library?
We
I
always
don't
think
understand.
of ghosts from being like the 1700s, but you know, some modern people are probably trapped on this world too.
Yeah.
And some of them are named Jeff.
So Joffrey might haunt us.
Joffrey
someday.
is gonna. That's our enemy, Kara. Anyway,
Oh,
we have an enemy.
yeah,
Uh-oh. Who's
Yeah.
Joffrey?
Well, Joffrey, that's not his real name.
that's not his
so-
real name. He's this guy that emailed us to tell us all these things we should do,
Including
different.
stop cackling.
Mostly, he told us to
Well,
stop.
You know
cackling.
what? You.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We said "fuck you, Joffrey" several times. When we,
I didn't know if
we
swears were okay, so I
Oh
said,
yeah. No, we swear a lot.
swears are definitely okay.
Okay.
Joffrey probably doesn't appreciate the swears, but Joffrey isn't listening anymore. So
So he told us he had to tap out,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
we're fine with that.
I'm gonna keep cackling just to spite you, motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we said. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's exactly. We're having tote bags made. So.
Okay, so it was a
Anyway,
spirit named Jeff
Okay.
seeing a UFO in the daytime, or a reptilian encounter.
Guess which one we picked? Are you kidding?
I said
Obviously the
reptilian, but
Yeah.
I think we might have gotten all 3.
Oh, okay.
Because
I haven't
I-
listened to this yet. I wanted to be surprised.
I wanted to be surprised, so let's find out what we
Okay,
got.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
My name is Rob Christofferson. I am the host of the Our Strange Skies podcast. And here are my stories. The first takes place on, it was a summer day in 2012. I believe it was in August. I was walking to work, so this was about maybe between 4 and 4:30. And I turned down the street that I always take. I haven't changed my path at all. I take the same route every day. I can see an animal on someone's yard. I have, I'm pretty sharp vision. You could usually make out deer this time of year and stuff like that. And I could see an animal all the way down because, like, from the end of the street, you have a pretty good long view of the entire street. So I didn't think of anything of it. I thought it was probably going to be a deer or something like that. And I get to about maybe 25, 30 feet away from this thing, and standing right underneath the street light. And when I mean standing, I mean like bipedally. This thing, whatever it was between 3 and 3.5 feet tall. It had a tail that came up. If I had to get a rough estimate on it, I would say the tail was probably 3 to 4 feet long. The skin, as best as I can make it out, was really scaly, almost like a reptile's. And I stopped to look at it for a second, and when I did that, it turned around, it looked at me, Now, I can't remember a lot of the features of the face. All I can really remember is that the face was really flat. And then it turned back around and booked it up this one person's yard. That was something I don't think I'll ever forget. You don't forget seeing a 3-foot tall, weird-looking reptile thing.
That was an alien, I think.
That's crazy.
I mean, I agree that if you saw that, you would not forget.
no. Oh
What
my
is with the
God.
flat face?
Like a pug? I don't understand.
I want to know more about the features. I wonder what.
Like,
you know,
yeah,
He
did
needs
it-
to draw us a photo.
I need an amateur sketch.
Rob, yes.
Yes!
Post
Where's
it,
the police sketch, Rob?
post
Rob?
it on Instagram, Rob.
Does it have sharp teeth? Does it
Yeah.
have like a mouth like a lizard?
He's a long tail?
Or
Ugh,
the
that
long
sounds
tail is
gross.
creeping me out.
Yeah. Well, and I would say it would be like that's an overgrown pug with mange or something, but it was walking at 2 legs.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's
Rob, also, were you like crawling around your neighbor's yard after a reptilian? You can tell us. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Did you
okay.
follow it? I feel like we're missing some details here.
Whoa.
That's
All right,
crazy.
That was crazy.
And I think he did send us his other story. Should we listen to the other
yeah,
one?
let's
Okay.
go.
Great.
So the second story is from, I believe it's 2014. I'm part of a paranormal investigation group in central New York. And we were looking for a place to train new investigators. So we were just going down some backcountry roads. We were like driving on them maybe for 45 minutes, and we stumble across this cemetery. It was a relatively new cemetery. I don't think there was any grave that was older than the 70s. It was nestled in between this copse of trees, and there was a lot of open area because it wasn't a particularly full cemetery. There was a lot of empty space. We're like, okay, well, we don't think we're gonna get anything here. We'll start here and see how it goes. So we unpack the equipment and we turn on those meters, and all of a sudden they start going off, which was really weird. This is the middle of nowhere. There are no electrical sources. The car is not on. So, like idiots, we decide, hey, we're going to go into the cemetery because there's no way that the ghosts are hanging out by the car. We investigate maybe for hour and a half, and then we split up teams. At one point, the team that I was not a part of actually went back to the car to get something. They turned on their meters, and they got the same hits again. The whatever was there was, making the meters go off. And like idiots, they walked back to the cemetery. We investigated for maybe another hour, and then I turned to my partner and I said, "Hey, let's just go back to the car. Like that seems to be the place." So we go back to the car, turn on the meters. Sure enough, get the same hits. We stand there for maybe a couple minutes, and then they stop. The meters just stop going off. We move forward maybe like a foot, and there it was again. And it would do this for it did it in a circular pattern around the car. Whatever this was, we kept following it around the car. For whatever reason, it was stuck on that. So we had a ghost box with us that night. We turned it on. I had a voice recorder with me, and we kept asking what the spirit's name was, and it kept saying the same name 3 times. We couldn't make it out when we were doing the investigation. But afterwards, the next day when we were going through the audio, we found out that the spirit's name was Jeff. Fast forward about a month later, or month or 2 months, our team leader pulls me aside and said, "Hey, do you remember the spirit Jeff from that cemetery?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember Jeff. It's kind of unforgettable." They had asked around town, and they figured out that the spirit named Jeff had ended up committing suicide at the end of the road. And he asked them why would the ghost be interested in a red Pontiac Sunfire, and it turns out that his daughter had one just like it.
I have so many questions about that.
I want to know what a ghost box is.
I need to know what a ghost
Is that
box
how you
is.
hear a ghost voice?
I'm thinking of that thing on Ghostbusters that they trap ghosts in.
That's what I was thinking of.
I
as
think
well.
it's like a EVP device.
I was
Oh.
also
like-
thinking of that like jewelry box from the 90s that you'd open it up and there's a ballerina twirling. And you just kind of like go, ah, and it's like, doo, 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 doo,
Would it have a little
Maybe
ghost
that's it.
twirling in
Yes.
it?
Like the ghost emoji, that's exactly what it looks
Yeah.
like. It's just twirling. You know what I think a ghost box is? Because I've watched some Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
on the Travel Channel is like it broadcasts white noise or something, and then like the ghost can speak through it, and you can like hear it. Because as we'll learn from watching Sightings, which we watched for our Patreon episode, on typical EVPs, you can't hear the ghost in the room.
Right. It
But-
just shows up in the recording.
Yeah, but with a
It
ghost
shows up in the
box-
recording going, Jeff. Jeff.
I think the ghost box allows you.
Pontiacs.
Rob can tell us on Twitter if we're wrong, but I think the ghost box allows you to hear it in the room in the moment.
Okay.
Although it sounds like, maybe this one had a speech impediment or something. They couldn't. He kept saying, "Jeff, guys, my name is Jeff," and they couldn't.
Listen up, it's Jeff, he said. But
They couldn't tell
I knew
afterwards.
I knew it was going to be something about he likes cars. I was like, oh, maybe he was a mechanic. Maybe like he got crushed by a car. But
Yeah.
it being his daughter's car
Red Pontiac Sunfire.
makes sense.
That is quite the coincidence that they brought a red Pontiac
Yeah.
Sunfire.
I mean, I would kind of wish I had one now.
A red Pontiac
If
Sunfire.
it attracts ghosts. And
My
also
sister
just looks
used
cool.
to have a silver Pontiac Sunfire. Actually, it was
Oh.
mostly brown because it was mostly rust. But
Back in the
I
day,
know,
sure.
right? Yeah, well, that was a great story.
Shout out to Jeff.
Hey,
I hope he's
Jeff.
listening.
Jeff.
In the spirit world or
Yeah.
stuck on this plane.
Someone needs to help Jeff pass on.
I think
Jeff?
yeah.
Hey, Jeff. Jeff.
Jeff, we're talking to
Jeff,
Jeff.
look at the light and just kind of walk that way.
Yeah,
Walk
it's
towards
okay.
Walk this way.
you. It's okay. You don't have to stay in this world.
You can pass.
can go.
You can pass over.
There's a
You can
better
pass
place.
over.
Yes.
Pass on.
I'm sure your daughter's fine.
Should we listen to the third one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is about a UFO, I believe.
So this third one is about it was in 2015, so it's almost 3 years now. It was in June, and I was at work, and a friend of mine came down to he asked me to go out on a break. So we went outside. He was we were just hanging out. He was smoking a cigarette and all that. And all of a sudden, I just look up, and against this blue sky, clear as day, is this egg-shaped object. It literally looked like if you took an egg, you blew it up in size, like really large. You put it in the air and you made it stay there and move around. That's literally what it looked like. It looked like a flying egg. And it was moving parallel to where we were. It was moving very slowly. Like so slow I don't know of anything that could move like that. It wasn't a blimp, I don't think, and I initially thought that at first, but what it did was it was moving slow parallel to where we were standing, and then it stopped midair, turned 90 degrees, and took off away from us. I would have figured on the back end I would have seen something, some kind of like some kind of propulsion system, like stabilizers, anything that would let me know that this was some kind of like blimp or conventional craft or something like that. There was nothing. There were no windows on it at all. It literally just looked like a flying egg. And the weirdest thing about it was, my friend and I, when we were looking at this, we had zero urge to take a picture of it. We did not want to take a picture of it for whatever reason. We were just calm as can be looking at this thing like it was nothing out of the ordinary, even though none of us had ever seen a flying egg before. So that was that, and those are my stories.
I'm not sure what to say about the flying egg.
I'm concerned about what they were doing on this break.
I'm concerned about what they did on the break.
Might have. Rob, it's okay.
We all been there.
I mean, what do you think that flying egg wanted?
Well, I think it was probably a UFO.
It was unidentified, and
It
it,
was
flying,
unidentified.
and it was an object.
So there you go. It was a UFO.
That is confirmed.
But why do you think it would want to visit Earth? Just to go like, yep, glad I don't live there.
I think
It was
they sometimes
abducting
get
people?
kind of off course.
Oh.
And I don't even know if they really want to be hanging out here.
They probably don't.
Yeah, they probably
This
take
pla-
one
they're
look at
sucks.
Earth
Like,
and
this
like,
place is hot garbage. That's why they're zipping away so fast. They like bounce down. They're like,
they're like,
oh,
let's
they
ask
look
for
around.
directions, and then they're like, no, let's
No,
not.
We'll
Let's
go back
move
to
on.
Z-Bop. And Those people are cool.
In their egg crafts.
Well,
It's a shame it was such a boring shape. An egg.
So I saw a UFO.
Yes, this is
Yes.
a perfect transition.
This is a segue.
Yeah,
That's
let's
a
hear about
perfect segue.
let's hear about your UFO and how it compares to Rob's egg.
So, Rob, I want to know how big the egg was. So let me know. Because I saw also a UFO, also in daylight,
Oh.
in 2009. So I was, living with my parents like a cool person does.
Sure.
Kind of hanging out in the living room, staring out the window, kind of thinking about, what am I doing with my life? Anyway, we don't have to go there. But that's where my mind was at.
Sure.
I'm looking outside, and it's probably like 5 o'clock, 4:30, and it's light outside. And this giant sphere bounced down from the sky about a half a block away from where I was at. And it was huge. It was 2 stories tall. Yeah, it bounced down from the sky, and it was so bright. The light kind of hurt my eyes to look at. It was like bright
Wow.
blue. And then it bounced away, and it flew away. And it freaked me out.
Crazy.
I have no idea what it was. I have no explanation.
Well, then that is a UFO.
Yeah.
So we
I
don't
think
know
that
what
for
it is.
sure was. 2 stories tall.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
What was going through your head at the time? You were just baffled by what it could be?
I was like, man, I want to go to outer space. Take me with you. It was really scary.
That's terrifying.
It really hurt my eyes. My eyes hurt for like a solid 5 minutes afterwards because it was so bright.
Huh.
That's so crazy. That reminds me, I gotta look it up. There is, the last podcast on the left just did a UFO series on, I'm gonna find it, the Hudson Valley sightings. Have you heard of these?
No.
They're like these lights that were in the sky in this Hudson Valley, and people describe it as like a giant city coming down from the sky. Like that's how big it was. Isn't that crazy? Like that's what it reminded me of. Like seeing something so humongous in the sky and how terrifying that would be. It's like a movie.
Yeah. And it literally bounced away. There was no, exhaust. There was no, I didn't see any engine thing.
Right.
It was like a clear sphere with this, bright blue center. Like
Yikes.
a disc.
Huh.
Huh.
It's
I have no
interesting that both
fucking idea
you
what it was.
and Rob's stories take place during the day because I always think of UFOs as at night
At night.
and just being more light based. But then this is so bright that it's blinding your eyes.
Yeah.
In the daylight.
Mm-hmm.
That's
In the daylight.
terrifying. I totally believe in UFOs. I will say this right now. Our government's basically confirmed that
Yeah.
they exist.
Yeah.
We can't be the skeptical bitches we once were because
I mean, I still am on other subjects, but not in UFOs.
now we know that there's aliens, there's alien alloys. I don't know what to think.
Reptilians.
Are there reptilians? I guess.
Are
Call
they
us.
running our government?
Is
Maybe.
Hillary Clinton a reptilian?
Did she kill those boys on the tracks?
Probably. I mean, wow.
Wow.
What?
Do you think that the reptilian that Rob saw was a baby? He said it was only 3 feet tall.
Yeah, that's a curious detail.
I think, I've seen 2 aliens.
Oh my God, tell us.
So they're not big,
Oh.
but they have huge ass heads. I did
Oh my gosh.
make a sketch of it.
Yes!
It's so bad.
I want to
okay.
see it. I want to
So
see
bad.
it.
It's like such an amateur sketch.
Whoa! That's terrifying! Oh my God! We will put that on Instagram.
It's like literally the most basic picture of an
But
alien.
it did have that kind of pointy head
It did,
with the big
absolutely.
eyes.
Like olive-shaped eyes. Don't
Yes.
put it away. Don't put it away.
Honestly, you guys,
Was it gray?
it was gray. I've seen a gray alien twice.
Whoa. In the same place?
No.
Oh my God.
So, should I just tell?
Yeah, just do it.
Should I just do
we
it?
need
Okay.
the story.
So, it was 2012, and I was living at living at my friend's parents' house because I'm just a person who travels from couches sometimes. And I was going to sleep, and I was laying down just kind of decompressing from the day, And I noticed these lights outside start flashing, and I was in a second story guest bedroom, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Maybe it's the neighbors coming home from
Having a rave.
Sure. It's the 90s. Everybody's having fun. And I thought, that's curious, but I didn't really think anything of it. And literally the next second, there was a fucking alien looking at me, looking down at me.
Like standing over you?
Standing over me, like, here's me laying down. Here's the alien's face. Parallel.
And it looked like that?
Yes. And
Oh
it
my
had,
fucking God.
Its head had to have been twice the size of a human head or more. It was probably like at least a foot and a half.
The length of Lenny Briscoe.
Yeah. Its head was humongous. And it was like that dark gray with two of those black eyes. They were like matte. They weren't shiny. There was no facial features. There was no nose. There was no mouth. And it just stared at me for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds.
Were you frozen and
I was.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't scream. It just was looking at me, and I was like, don't freak out.
Oh my God. I would have freaked out.
Yeah, I think I would have freaked out.
Well, and I was like, you're a grown-ass person. Like,
Yeah,
what am
but
I going to do?
an
Am I going to
staring
scream
at you?
for her parents? Like, help me!
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's
if an
so scary.
alien's staring at me,
would.
yes.
And then it just faded. It just faded away.
Oh my God. Did the other one you saw look like that too?
It looked just like that. So that story is a little more precarious.
Okay.
So this was recent. This was like maybe 6 or 7 months ago. And let me preface this by saying, don't do what I did. Don't do this.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'm a yogi.
Yeah.
Namaste. And I'm a firm believer in setting an intention and saying things out loud. I think we attract energy that we put out into the universe, right? So I decided that I was going to set my intention to make contact with aliens. And
This could not possibly go wrong.
I said out loud before I went to bed, aliens, I would like to make contact with you tonight. Please come on down.
Yeah. It's an open invitation. Open house.
It's
for aliens.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Okay.
So I said that. So I went to bed, sleep, sweet dreams, slumbering.
Yeah.
Now we're in the dream realm.
Oh.
Because I made that noise.
Sure. I get
Okay.
it. It's like when
I
the
can see it
screen goes like
perfectly.
whoosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, see? The sound
Yeah.
effects.
Mhm.
This is
Perfect.
fun.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. In my dream, I had just gotten done playing a show, and we're outside of like a concert venue. Apparently, my band is big. Really kicked it off. And all of a sudden, there's like this huge flash of light. Everything starts shaking, and I pass out in my dream. And I
Okay.
wake up in the dream
Yeah.
in my bed with the person I was seeing at the time, cuddling. But all of a sudden I'm like, something is wrong. Something is not right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very
God, I have
freaked
goosebumps.
out. And I'm like, I don't want to turn in my mind.
Oh, no, I'm so scared.
So I'm in my dream, I'm freaking out. And I'm like, okay, just turn, just look, get it over with. So I turn, and what I think is my significant other cuddling me is an alien.
Oh my God.
Holding me.
Oh.
And I woke up screaming. I was freaking out.
That
Yeah.
is the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Terrifying. So he's freaking out because I'm screaming. And he's like, can you get the cat off of me? Like, the cat's crawling up my leg. Can you get the cat off of me? And I'm like, we're at your house. My cat's at my house.
Yeah.
My cat's not here.
Oh my God.
So he's like flailing the covers off. Nothing's there, but he has all these scratches on his leg.
What?
Oh my God, I'm so scared. That is terrifying.
Yeah. I have no explanation for it except that I set my intention to make contact with aliens, and I'm pretty sure I made contact with them.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. So yeah, listeners, do
Listeners.
not set that
Don't
intention.
do it.
Because
Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
And it looked the same. They're about 3 to 4 feet tall.
okay.
Huge gray heads. That's what they look like.
I mean, that seems to be the most common reporting from sightings of aliens.
Yeah.
There is
Great.
a consistency to, except that Samantha sent me some chart that was like, sometimes
Know your alien.
there was know your aliens and it had the different types of aliens on it. I'm the most skeptical of the ones that are just tall white dudes. What are those ones?
Nordics.
The Nordics.
Nordics. Maybe Rob can tell us about the Nordics.
I
have
most-
questions.
I feel like that's the aliens that are really racist people want to see, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's tall white people traveling around the galaxy. But
I would like to know more about the history of the legend of the Nordic aliens.
maybe we should probably look into that.
I bet
yeah.
it has some racist
Nordic
origins.
aliens.
Yeah, they literally look like just bald, tall, white dudes and women. If you look up Nordic aliens, there's a lot of like
I am gonna Google it.
yeah,
This is my notes.
there you will find some unfortunate things, such as people saying that like Amanda Seyfried, is that how you pronounce her last name? The actress is like a Nordic alien because she has like big eyes or something. I'm not really sure.
She's not even that tall.
No,
What?
but she has blonde hair and she's
So
white,
do you.
And maybe I'm a Nordic.
You guys should also just throwing it out there. You should do an episode on the Illuminati and have me come back and talk about weird Illuminati
We
stuff.
will do that. We will absolutely do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that idea.
Yeah, that aliens.
That's really freaky. The scratches.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Because something I was thinking about was like, okay, I know you have some ghost stories too, which we can get
Oh, yeah.
to.
I was gonna ask about those next.
But usually when people are like say their house is haunted, I'm like, just let the ghosts like hang out there.
What's the big deal?
But if they could scratch you,
Yeah,
if they can actually
terrifying.
like harm you, like this alien, then that's a whole different story.
It's a whole different story.
It's like because usually I'm like the ghosts were there first, so
Yeah.
like just let them turn off lights and close some doors.
I don't know.
All right, so where did you grow up, Kara?
I grew up in Edina, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I grew up in a haunted house.
This is what I knew, and that's why I wanted you to come talk about your haunted childhood in your Addams Family house.
We need
I
the
have a lot.
stories.
Well, I had a lot of personal problems. Well, it all started.
So was your house always haunted? You think?
I think it was always haunted.
Yeah.
We moved there in the early 90s,
Okay.
and I always was uncomfortable being in the basement of that house.
Sure.
I think a lot of kids are. I mean, it was a funky basement, wood paneling, orange shag carpet. It
Oh,
was the
basically-
70s.
It sounds awesome.
I was gonna say
I
basically
know.
Liz's dream house.
Yeah, that's my dream.
Mine
basement.
too. But I think a lot of kids get that way when they're like, I gotta run up the stairs really fast because something's
Sure.
watching.
I still do that.
But I always felt like someone was watching me.
Oh my
They were.
God.
I've always felt like someone was right behind my shoulder. And as I got older, my friends were like, something is creepy.
It's got bad vibes
about your house. But it was the cool house. It was the party house because my parents didn't care what we did, and boys could sleep over sometimes. So everyone,
Wow.
and we got
Obviously
a
everyone-
wii.
Oh.
That was the party house. Wow.
Boys can sleep over. We have a Wii. There might be a demonic presence in the basement, but it's
But
worth
it's fine,
it.
you guys. We can drink Smirnoff Ice and chill.
Yep.
So it was good times. It was fun times. There were some fun times in the house, but mainly
There was a ghost.
there was a ghost.
Do you
or a
think there
couple.
was? Yeah. Do you think it was one spirit or multiple entities?
I think it was multiple entities, and I think they were kind of demonic. Honestly,
Oh my god, we gotta know why.
so just the general creepy feeling was always happening. The basement was always like at least 20 degrees colder than the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Like without fail. Like it was always like you'd go down there and it would just be freezing all the time. And I would like have a space heater. I would try to make it, and I lived in the basement,
Oh, even better.
which was great. Well, you're a fun teen.
Sure.
And you're like, this is the dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the whole basement.
Except that it's haunted
it's
by
haunted.
demonic spirits.
Yeah, there's that.
So I started seeing this face in the window whenever I would pull up to the house.
I hate that so
At night,
much.
That is
During the
freaky.
day, it didn't matter when. It was like the whole front window had this like face, and other people saw it too. They were like, "That window, like, why does it look like a face, and I was like, we don't ask questions. You know, it's happening.
It's Jeff.
Yeah,
It's Jeff, and he's here to stay. So that was unnerving. But
Yeah.
I
Would be.
just kind of thought maybe the windows are dirty.
in a face shape.
In a face shape.
Yeah. We're
You try to
programmed to see
rationalize
faces. Oh, sure.
things,
Of
and
course.
you're like, I'm just seeing things. And I was a troubled teen, so I was like, maybe I'm just finally losing it.
I've had that feeling before, for sure. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I've gone insane.
it's happened.
It's finally
It
happened.
finally happened. Take me now. So I started seeing this shadow figure
Oh god.
during the day, at night, didn't really matter when, mainly in the basement. He would be kind of peering around the doorways, kind of hanging out, just checking up on me and my friends. And my friends saw it too, and they were like, did you just see that shadow? And I was like, yeah, I don't like talking about it.
Oh my god.
So
oh my god.
nightmare.
yeah. Then things started moving. I was doing my homework one night in the basement, or not in the night. It was like noon. Listening
Yeah.
to some tunes, and the stack of papers floated in the fucking air.
Oh
I'm
my god.
speechless.
Me too.
They-
I don't even know what to say. I
They
would freak out.
levitated up like about a foot off the desk, moved about 6 inches, and then went down. And there wasn't a breeze. There was no fan on. So I was like, that's weird. But I kept doing my homework.
Because what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Gotta finish that A push.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta get into college or whatever.
Gotta,
Yeah.
gotta get a degree.
Yeah, you gotta, you know.
I don't remember if this was like a week later or a couple days later. I was again doing my studies,
Sure.
Yep.
and I had
Very
I
studious.
was very responsible. You know, still had those Smirnoff Ice on the weekends, but
But on the weekends, fine. During the week, you do your homework. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
There was like a jar of pens and pencils on my desk that was just sitting there, and I watched them lift up off the desk and get thrown across the room,
Oh my
hit
God.
the wall, and fall all over.
So why did the ghosts not want you to do your homework?
The ghost really didn't want me to do my homework.
Or there was something about like that spot of the basement that they were
Yeah.
like protective of.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
Here's the
what-
whole basement.
I think they were just.
They were like,
They just wanted me to know that they were there and that like get away.
Yeah.
Basically, it was scary.
If
that
you had
one,
a ghost box, you could have talked to him.
I wish I had a ghost
Damn.
box.
See, I didn't even know that was a thing. We're gonna have to get a ghost box.
Yeah,
You should.
that one. So that was like okay thing. You know,
Yeah, that's
That is-
unsettling.
At this point,
I'm getting.
sorry, parents, we gotta just burn the house down.
It's gotta go.
Yeah. If this was a movie, this is always when I'm like yelling at the screen.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you gotta move. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Don't
Don't
stay
stay
in
there.
Don't stay in the house.
And it was during the day, and that's what was like
Yeah.
getting unnerving.
Did
like,
your parents know about this?
I would tell them, and they were like, "It's you're doing drugs. you don't know
those-
what you're seeing.
It's those Smirnoff
It's those
ices.
Smirnoff ices. You're pounding back." And I'm
Everyone
like,
knows the side effect of Smirnoff ice.
Smirnoff.
Smirnoff ice is ghost encounters.
Yeah.
May cause ghost encounters, it said on the side of the bottle.
Hallucinations. Oh, so things were. I guess it was like escalating. Now,
Yeah,
now that
yeah.
I've seen horror films,
Yeah, that's
like, it was escalating. So doors would start opening just by themselves. It was very
Yeah.
creepy. There was a closet in there that was like cement.
Okay.
So there's no breeze.
Yeah.
And the door would just open by itself and
my
then
God.
shut by itself and
terrifying.
open.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. And it was it was really upsetting.
Do you think the ghost wanted you to leave the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
They were trying to scare you away.
it was
maybe.
trying well, see, it gets worse.
Okay.
So I slept down there. And at this point, everything was happening during the day. And I was pretty much the only one who saw anything. My friends just felt uncomfortable. One of my friends said she heard someone whispering to her in the night. And she actually left in the middle of the night and ran
Oh my
ho-
god, that's
ran
how you know it's
home.
bad. If during the sleepover, if the friend
Yeah.
has to leave.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of demonic ghosts whispering.
She's like, I'm just trying to get some
Jeff.
rest.
Jeff.
My name is Jeff. Why don't you people get it?
Jeff, I hear you, buddy. It's all good. So I was trying to sleep one night and I heard a growl.
Oh my god. That's how you know it's demonic.
My stomach just like dropped.
Yeah. And
What?
it was very scary. So, the next night I'm trying to sleep, and this time I hear someone say my name. And I'm like, oh, it was like, should I do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, Cara.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I know. And I screamed, I ran upstairs, I slept with my mom. It's
That's so
fine.
scary.
Yeah.
It's so
fine.
scary.
Okay. The next night, or maybe it wasn't the next night, but like very recently after that,
Yeah.
I went back down there to sleep, going to bed, and I shit you not, someone starts punching the bed. They punched like down one side, like across the bottom, up the other, like hitting the bed. I can feel it, I can hear it, and then they punched right over like the pillows and where my head was.
Oh my
And
god.
they whispered my name again. And I ran the fuck out of there.
Well, of course.
Oh my god, that's so
And
scary.
I slept with my mom, and I was like, I will not go
In the demonic basement
back
with
down
the punching
there.
ghost.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
And she believed me and got some holy water and put up a bunch of crucifixes.
Okay.
Did that help?
It did.
Huh. Interesting.
Did you move out of the basement?
No. I just slept with my mom for a while, and then I slept
Okay.
on the couch.
Yeah.
I was too afraid to go down there.
I would be too. I
Yeah.
think
And
you
then I
lasted longer than I would have.
And then I went to college.
And then you're like, screw you, ghost house. I'm out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Do your parents still live there?
No, they split up, and that house. But I don't even like driving by that house. It freaks me out so much.
That's so
Yeah.
scary. I wonder if the people who are currently living there are
That's what I wanted to
experiencing-
know, is if the hauntings continue or maybe...
If you're listening and you live in a Dinah in a haunted house,
Let us
Do you have
know.
a shag carpeted orange basement?
Yeah.
wood paneling,
Does it kind of smell like holy water?
call us.
Yeah,
Please
call
do.
us on the Perhaps It's You hotline. A thing that does not exist.
But should.
But should.
That's what we can use our office for.
Oh, yeah.
The call center.
The call center. I work there, you guys. I am unemployed, and I am looking for work.
Will you accept $1 a month?
Sure.
I feel like I should ask you a lot of questions, but I'm just so
scared. That's really
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Do you think, what are your beliefs of like the afterlife? Do you think the ghosts are having trouble crossing over? Or these seem like particularly evil ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think energy can
Yeah.
get trapped places.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure what form ghosts are necessarily. Are they dead people? I'm not sure. But I do think that just like with the body system, I think energy can get trapped places. And you have to help it
Like move on.
get out.
Yeah.
So,
So something happened in that house and the house is like replaying.
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about
It's the
hauntings,
location.
too. Or there's an energy or some sort of memory,
Yeah.
and that we can see it happen. Kind of like what they described in Sightings, actually.
yeah.
Their theory about how
It
negative
sort of
energies
it
in
gets
particular.
played in a loop.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can somehow pick up on it.
It would be so interesting to know what happened in that house.
I know.
But,
Let's go to the library, you guys. Get
I
out
am
some.
very curious. I feel like I always had I was like, something bad
Yeah.
went down. I don't know what, but
Yeah.
Let's go get some microfiche at the local library.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
I would love to.
We'll go keepers on that shit.
Yeah. We'll figure this out.
What a good ghost story. I mean, good, but scary.
It's scary.
terrifying.
We're glad
Yeah.
you survived.
Yeah, I am
Right.
too.
And
Brutal.
and that your parents got out of that house.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Most ghosts they sound pretty harmless. Obviously people get freaked out, but I'm like, that ghost isn't trying to hurt you. They just live in the
Just
house.
ringing
Yeah.
a bell or whatever.
Yeah,
It's ringing the sex bell.
We talked about a case where this old couple were living in a house they thought was haunted, but the ghost was ringing a bell. Sometimes using a drill.
Yeah.
And they got so freaked out they moved, and I was like, that ghost is harmless.
Yeah.
Just share the house with a ghost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this ghost in your house,
Not harmless.
no.
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 It was out for you.
It
It
was-
learned your name.
Didn't want you
Yeah.
to do your homework. It
No.
wanted you to fail.
He wanted me to fail.
That's just rude. That's a rude ghost.
It is rude.
Trying to write my term paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit throwing my pencils across the room.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe the ghost hated Smirnoff Ice. I think that's what it was.
That could have been it.
Or it was like, why won't
They
you let me
taste
play?
like
It was more of a
candy.
Boone's Farm kind of
Yeah.
ghost.
It was like, why will you never let me play Wii? It's always your turn. It's never my turn. Jeff. the
Jeff.
ghost.
I will let you play Wii bowling. Okay.
How about Mario Kart?
Love Mario
With the
Kart.
actual steering wheel.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's how you-
Freaky.
Yeah, I know. That was
If people have other questions for Kara about her aliens
Oh,
or
yeah.
haunted house,
Yes.
we can pass them along to her. If you have, maybe you had a similar experience where an alien was standing over you or
Yeah.
scratched you.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's freaky.
It's freaky.
Should we read some of these?
Let's read some of these
Let's
A
stories.
lot of these have to
some.
do with ghosts. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read. This is a long one. This is from Shauna, and it involves some dreams, which I know there's kind of a cliche idea that no one ever wants to hear about your dreams. I always want to hear about people's dreams.
Same.
They're crazy.
They're crazy.
I
They're
love hearing
super
about them.
interesting. And I can't like explain this or really like how I feel about it, but my great grandmother once had a prophetic dream right before the Great Depression. She woke up, she lived in Illinois. She took all of her money out of the bank. She bought a trailer and drove south to Florida so that she could live in the trailer and fish and get an orange tree, and like that would provide for her food. And it was like the day before the
Oh my
stock
God.
market crash.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
I cannot explain that, but I totally believe that she had a prophetic dream about the depression. I don't know.
Can you guys please also do an episode where we talk about like psychic things?
Sure.
Because like I don't know if you know this. Samantha, I know Liz knows, but I'm like super into woo-woo shit.
I did not know this.
I'm like super into it. Like I teach classes about like how to be psychic, like literally
Oh my
down
God.
the street.
Yes. We have so many more episodes
Yeah.
now. This is
Yeah.
great.
So I'm going to read this story from Shauna. Okay. A few years ago, I moved to Seattle on a wing and a prayer. Didn't have any family or many friends there. Ended up getting a job at a law firm, and a few months later made friends with a new draft technician who had also moved to Seattle on a wing and a prayer, not knowing anyone. We became really close really quickly. He was essentially like my little brother, and we were kind of having our own interesting sort of family. When my now husband moved out west, they also became very close. I also knew Charles, which I assume is this dude, had some dark history and some things that he struggled with. So naturally, I was concerned when he just stopped showing up to work and had lost his job. Didn't really seem like he had an interest in finding a new one, and he didn't seem overly concerned about how he would afford his apartment. Fair enough. He started really pulling away from me and my husband, and I remember talking about finding a way to get him some help because I had this sinking feeling that something was very wrong. Honestly, not doing that is a guilt that I will live with for the rest of my life.
Oh, Shauna.
That's all. It's not your fault, Shauna.
No.
That's awful. I received a phone call from the coroner's office
Oof.
one day because they found him in his car in an abandoned industrial lot having committed suicide.
Oh, no.
I was 9 weeks pregnant at the time, which is relevant later. Several months later, my husband and I moved back to our home state to raise our son around our families. I had a dream one night that Charles and I were just sitting in the living room hanging out like any other normal day. I've had a lot of truly bizarre dreams in my lifetime, but this one was so different in the sense that it felt very real. It was like he was actually sitting on the couch with me. Normally, when I wake up from a weird dream, I can sort of feel that the space between the waking world and the dream, if that makes sense, but in this case, it just wasn't there. Anyway, in the dream at one point, it suddenly hit me that he was dead, and I said, "How are you here? How can this be happening when you left me?" And then I just remember him looking me right in the eye and saying, "I'm so sorry that I hurt you with what I did, but you need to know that I love you."
I have goosebumps.
I do
oh my
too.
gosh.
Oh, of course I woke up in tears, but eventually brushed it off as pregnancy hormones, a new house, and the fact that we had his ashes in our bedroom.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I'm so
This is a
sad.
sad one.
Fast forward a few more months, and my son is about 6 weeks old. And again, I have this dream where Charles is at my house and everything feels very real and very normal. He sat on the couch and held my newborn son and told me how perfect he was. And again, I came to this realization that there was no way he could be real. And I asked him how he could possibly be here spending time with my son and me. And he said the exact same thing. I'm sorry that I hurt you, but I need you to know that I love you.
Oh my God, Shauna. Thank you for sharing that story.
That's a
with us.
beautiful story. It's not your fault.
No, it's not.
No. And I think this is a really common experience that people have. I talked about...
You had a similar one.
Yeah, I had a similar thing. I talked about on the Halloween special with my grandmother when I was a child, that I woke up and she was on the end of my bed and just told me that everything was okay. And at the time, I really thought that was her ghost. I don't know that I think that anymore. Apparently, that's a very common sort of dream to have when you're grieving. Mm-hmm. I learned that from someone that works at a hospice. Those dreams always feel like very real and like very like calm.
Comforting.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can look at it either way, I guess.
Yeah.
But
it's a beautiful
That
story.
is awesome.
sad story.
It's really sad.
Thanks for sharing that with
Thanks,
us,
Shauna.
That was really sweet, and we wish you the best. And
Yeah. I remember reading that email. I think she sent that story quite a while ago.
I think she did.
And it kind of
so.
came flooding back to me as I was listening to you read it. Oh, Shauna, thank you.
Shauna.
Yeah.
All right, who is next?
I'll
Right.
go. I have Sean.
We have a Sean and a Shauna.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my friend Sean from college. Shout out Sean. He's hilarious.
Sean. Okay, so for the maybe UFO, I want to start out by saying I'm 100% okay with the idea that it was not a UFO.
It was a UFO. I'm gonna
It
say
very
right
well
now.
could have been a drone or something else, but here goes. When I was still living in Edina, I was on the phone with the girlfriend that I was seeing at the time. I stepped out on our balcony, as to not wake up my roommate. While on the phone, I noticed a green light off in the distance and sort of waxed. What am I doing?
Let me see.
And I just don't know how to read.
Let's see. While on the phone, I noticed a green light off in the distance, sort of wax romantic on it.
Oh. Anyways, after looking at this light for a few minutes, which for those first few minutes the light never moved at all, it began to make large back and forth motions. How large? I cannot accurately say.
Very, very well, Sean.
Acceptable.
I assumed the light was far away, as the light itself looked fairly large and quite bright, but no other physical attributes were illuminated by the light, like a vessel or anything like that, just the light. I told my girlfriend what was going on and asked her if I could call her back after I took some footage of it. Good call. After ending the call, I tried to launch the camera on my phone, but every time I tried to hit either record for video or take a picture, my phone would crash. Fuck. After about 5 minutes of trying, I gave up and called my girlfriend back. About a minute after talking to her again, the light quickly darted northeast, whoop whoop, and the light was gone. I continued to talk with my girlfriend for another 30 minutes. It's a lot of talking. When out of nowhere, the light came back. It would hover in one spot, then quickly dart a large distance just to hover again. Again, I ended the call to try to take a pic or video, and again the program crashed every time. After about another 10 minutes, it went southward, and quickly the light was out of sight again. As I said before, it could have very well been a person with a drone or a host of other things. It just seemed weird
that
that
was
for the
UFO.
intensity of the light, it was unable to illuminate any sort of vessel, which made me think the light was coming for a good distance. And if it were the amount of... This is a run-on sentence.
Sean!
The amount of
Sean,
space it was
you're an
able
English major.
to travel was incredible in the time it took to do it. The phone issues could also have been an isolated issue, but that was the only time I'd ever seen the camera crash on that phone. Again, I would just like to say how much I love your podcast.
I left that in there.
I know you two are probably under a lot of time constraints with life and all, but personally, I would love if you did 2 podcasts a week. XOXO, Sean.
Aw.
He didn't-
I definitely purposely left in the flattering bit at the end.
So, I would like to know from Sean if the light hurt his eyes.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, very similar to Car's
we have
experience.
2 cases from Medina. They're both bright lights.
Yeah.
They both seem to act in a kind of a similar way. That's really weird.
I think
is
that's
weird.
super weird.
I mean, his was green and yours was blue,
Yeah.
but still, That's crazy.
That's weird.
Yeah, I totally believe it was. Sean was kind of trying to, be a little bit.
He doesn't want to sound like a crackpot, but the thing is, Sean, you saw a UFO.
Yeah.
So deal with
Pretty
it.
sure
Yeah.
he did. I believe it was aliens. Yeah.
And they took one look at a Dinah, and then they said, nope.
Nope. It's
I'm
a
out.
no.
I'm out. Well, that is a great story. Thank you, Sean. I have a story from Jessica. Jessica says, hello, I just listened to episode 5. I sent this to you many months ago, so here it is, take 2. Yeah, I think we had some issues with our email address.
Yeah, I might have said it wrong more than once.
That's been rectified. Saw you were looking for some stories about ghosties. I have a lot of them. I'll tell you a couple of the most terrifying for me.
Oh, boy.
Background: the house I was raised in was huge and over 100 years old in Superior, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, that was
Shout
shit.
out
Yeah.
Superior.
That was haunted for sure.
My mom was raised in that house, and my grandfather, her dad that I never got to meet, died in the house. The attached garage on the house was actually turned into a 1-bedroom apartment when he got sick. It was made so he had easier access to the bathroom and his bed. He had a cancerous brain tumor. Oh. Anyway, he died in the house. I don't know anything else about the history of the house or the land. A couple stories from many. When I was a little girl, I was sleeping in my room. I remember having sort of a nightmare. I awoke already sitting up, facing the corner of my room.
Ooh.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I saw my mom standing there
Oh, God.
with her head tilted, smiling in a really creepy way at me.
Ah!
Oh my god! I stared at her for a few seconds and
Oh.
said, "Mom?" And then she disappeared.
What the fuck?
When I began to scream and cry,
Why would it be a vision of her
shit.
mom?
my real mom, she put that in quotation marks, came upstairs completely freaked out when I told her what I had seen. That is fucking terrifying.
Holy.
What? Why would
Shit.
that happen? Why would it be a vision of her living mom?
I've heard about that
Smiling
happening.
creepily. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And she woke up already sitting up in bed, staring at the corner of the room. That is...
That's
I'm
terrifying.
freaked out. I'm really freaked out.
What?
Another time I was in the shower home alone and I began to
Oh,
feel
God.
a really creepy feeling.
Oh God.
I hate these stories where you're in the shower and like something.
You're so
creepy
vulnerable in the shower.
Someone was watching me.
Oh, shit.
I could feel eyes on me.
Oh.
I abruptly turned off the shower even though I wasn't done. I was drying off quickly when I heard a man's voice from outside the door say my name in a way like he was trying to be creepy. And then
Fuck.
she wrote Jessica with a bunch of A's.
Shit.
That is fucking terrifying.
Fuck.
Wait,
yeah.
that's it? That's all that she has for that story?
I guess.
Was it like a peeper?
It was a ghost. It was
Oh.
probably Jeff.
Jeff, quit
Quit it.
Quit
Knock it off.
peeping on women in the shower. I don't care if you're dead. That's still rude.
It is very rude.
Another time I was in my bedroom on the phone with a friend. My closet door was super old and heavy and wooden. It didn't have a handle and you needed a screwdriver to get into it.
All right.
Okay.
That's not a good system.
No, not effective.
I never opened it and didn't keep
Yeah, well, I wonder why.
and didn't keep anything inside because it creeped me out. Suddenly
Yeah.
there was a bang 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 from inside the closet.
Oh,
God.
fuck.
And the door creaked open a few inches.
No.
Years later, when my parents were moving, they cleaned out the closet and found my grandpa's funeral mementos, i.e., the pamphlet from the service, pictures, etc. Like they forgot them in there. I don't
Who
understand.
put them in there?
I don't know.
The ghost?
Oh, they ended up in there mysteriously.
Oh, I need
mean,
more
she-
info.
She said she never put anything in there.
That's true. Yeah, because you had to get into it with a screwdriver.
Oh,
And I assume a chisel, probably hammer.
Yeah.
All right.
a lot of
Dynamite-
tools.
dynamite.
Dynamite sticks. Yeah.
God. My parents never believed me until I moved out and the ghosties started focusing on them instead of me.
Yeah, these things seem too malicious to be ghosties.
Ghosties?
It's not Casper.
Yeah, that's true. They really do. They often heard someone pacing the halls upstairs
Ooh.
or walking around in my empty room,
Ooh!
which is directly above them. I often would come over and sage the house for them when things would get really bad because
Yeah, sister.
Yeah, good idea.
it would seem to slow things down for a while. I'm not sure if this was my grandpa's haunting or something else.
Well, it's not her grandpa that was looking at her in the shower.
I doubt it.
I'm gonna say.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Her grandpa's not gonna show up and go, Jessica.
Maybe he thought it was funny though.
That's
That's true. Was he a prankster?
Yeah, maybe he
Did he
was.
need some We need some background.
We don't know. She never knew him. So at times it didn't feel threatening, maybe more playful, which I'm told my grandpa was. Okay.
Okay.
But at times it felt sinister.
So I'd say there's more than one
Yeah, I
ghost
think
there.
so.
Probably. I would have friends over and they would tell me that my house creeped them out, just like Cara.
Mm-hmm.
Neighbors told me that my house was known for many years as that haunted house.
Oh, shit.
It just gives off an aura.
I mean, I've kind of always wanted to be the creepy lady at the end of the block that's living in the haunted house and, like, the kids won't trick or treat there. You know what I
We
mean?
had a house like that behind our school. It was
Really?
so creepy. We
Why
had
was it so
many-
creepy?
It just looked creepy. I don't actually think it was.
Was it just, like,
haunted or
dead
anything.
trees and stuff?
It was just because like there was no other houses around, so it was just this one house, and it butted up against like the playground, and it was just old looking and creepy, and there was just like one old dude that lived there. So of course, all the
I want that
kids
to be me.
made the stories about it, but I don't think he was malicious or anything was wrong with him or his house.
He
Maybe
just had- he
maybe
just-
it was haunted. I don't know, but
he
we
just had
made
an old
so many ghost stories about that house. Anyway, so Jessica says that these are just some of her ghost stories. If you ever want more, I have lots.
Jessica, we want more.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah,
do
me too.
if you have enough, we'll do a whole Jessica episode. Send them in.
Jessica goes on to say, don't feel obligated to read this whole thing. This was the best.
It
I
was
loved
great.
Yeah.
I am scared.
I am
I'm
terrified.
legitimately terrified.
Yeah.
Both of those were nightmares. That's terrifying.
I really hate the shower one because I hate forensic files. This doesn't really make logical sense, but I hate the forensic files about window peepers.
Oh,
Even more
that
than
makes
I-
logical sense,
Well, but
actually.
I hate them more than the ones where people get murdered.
Oh, well,
but I
yeah.
think it just seems more likely, like
That's
statistically, that I'll have problems with a window peeper. I probably won't get murdered.
So,
All right.
Got another one, Liz?
I do. It's a sad one. This is
How
a
did I give you both the sad one? Both sad ones.
look. I don't know.
Luck of the draw. I'm sorry.
This one's from Mike. A long time ago, my brother and his friends went to a local graveyard with a Ouija board and tried to contact whoever belonged to the first tombstone they ran into. You got to do your research.
You really do.
Yeah. Later that night, they pulled into the driveway and opened the front door to talk shit to him and his friends. He tore the board in half and threw a piece at me. When I moved, it went in the front door and slid behind the bookshelf. He left the other half in the car. Within a week, we lost the house and wrecked the car. It is something I will never forget,
What?
and I have had
There
no
are
other problems.
Far too few details.
I am so confused.
I have never had any other problems like that since the Ouija board debacle. So his friend ripped it in half, and it almost sounds like half of it like flew into the house behind the bookshelf.
And they
Yeah.
just left it there?
I guess, and then they had bad, and then they had really bad luck.
Oh my god.
Where'd the other half go?
It was left in the car, but
Oh,
so
that's-
so half of it's in the car, half of it's
I
in the house,
see.
and they lose the house and wreck the car.
Oh.
That is freaky.
That is weird.
So we've gotten some conflicting information about Ouija boards and if
Yes.
they're dangerous on this podcast. Dangerous Linda, the host of the Minneapolis and St. Paul Ghost Tour, will tell
And
you.
Stillwater now.
Oh, and Stillwater.
Yes.
Damn.
Has told us that the mediums will tell you, don't fuck with them.
I wouldn't fuck with it.
But then
But then she said that they're just cardboard and not to be
that's
frightened
so the fat feminist wish was like they're just tools
Oh, that
of
was her, okay.
communication. They don't open a portal. It's really just cardboard. Like you could use it to talk to spirits, but you don't have to be worried about the Ouija board itself. I think Mike's story.
Maybe it's okay, so maybe you don't have to be worried about the Ouija board itself, but if you use the Ouija board to contact some evil spirits,
Yeah.
that might be when you
it's-
run into trouble.
Yeah, at the first tombstone, they don't know who that person was.
Yeah, or what
Yeah.
that person did.
or
Could
if
be a fucking Nazi.
if he hated houses and he hated cars,
Maybe.
or he was just like
he hated
leave-
red Pontiacs on fire.
He was
Damn.
like, leave me alone. I'm trying to get some rest finally.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
Jeff just wants to chill out with his little J.
He's like, yeah, he's looking for his daughter's car, and he's like, leave me alone. I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with drunk kids on Halloween.
No.
I'm really sorry that those bad things happened to them.
Yeah, that's
but-
Yeah,
a
sorry.
sad
Sorry,
story,
Mike.
Thank you for sending it in. And don't use any more Ouija boards, I guess,
No.
Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Next story.
Should I talk about Michelle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Michelle said, first story, when I was really young, like 3 or 4, I had an imaginary friend. Her name was New Michelle. Very
What?
creative. My name is Michelle. Looking back,
Sure.
I remember playing with her a lot.
That's
One-
actually really creepy to me.
New Michelle, like, I don't know why
That
that's
is a little
really,
creepy.
it's creepy.
It's like, I'm Michelle, and here's the even
Here's
better
new
version
Michelle.
of me. New Michelle.
That's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Version 2.0.
It's like the imaginary friend that single white females you and takes over your life. New Michelle.
oh,
Sorry, Cara, go ahead.
One night, I made my mom set a plate for her at the dinner table. Then I waited and waited, and she never showed up. How rude. I told my mom that I knew where she lived, and I wanted to go pick her up. My mom, being the cool, fun mom she is, said, okay. Apparently, we got in the car, and I took her to the other side of town, where I had never been before, and told her to stop in front of this one house. The house was an older, abandoned house that no one lived in. My mom was creeped out. We went home, and I never saw New Michelle again. Fucked up.
That's not an imaginary friend. If you don't have a
that's a fucking demon child.
Yeah.
if you can't control when you see your imaginary friend, that's not an imaginary friend.
Not an
Yeah.
imaginary friend. No.
Oh, New Michelle.
Watch out for new Michelle.
Yeah.
I think it's good that she never came
Yeah,
back.
I am
Yeah.
too. Okay, the next creepy story is really short. Me and my best friend were watching a scary movie. It was some sort of devil movie. And there was this part of
worst kind.
in the movie where the character yells out, if you really exist, give me a sign. And at that point, her VCR and TV shut down completely like we lost power, except we didn't lose power.
Oh,
Nothing else in the apartment went off, and that was really creepy. I don't think we slept that night.
that is
I wouldn't
creepy.
either.
That's creepy. No, maybe it was New Michelle.
Yeah.
New Michelle.
You set a
Stop.
table for her.
New Michelle is such a bitch.
Yeah, I don't-
She is.
Yeah, get it together, New Michelle.
New Michelle's creepy me. Oh.
That is super creepy. We got some creepy stories.
Yeah.
Oh, these are
Last
good.
story. So about 6 years ago, I was renting this house from this lady, and it was a really old house. It was built in the early 1900s. It was this small little creepy house that still had wooden doors and glass knob handles. I love that. And everything. It was like straight out of a horror movie. Oh, I love that aesthetic. When we first moved in, we had issues with the basement door. Every morning,
nope,
the basement
nope,
door
nope,
would be
nope, nope.
open. We thought maybe it was the air moving through the house. When we would open and close other doors, when we would shut the door and tug on it, it wouldn't open unless you turned the handle. Ooh, creepy. We decided that we would put a chair in front of the door. Great idea. And that's where we kept it for the rest of the time that we lived there. The basement was really creepy. In the cement, in the middle of the floor was etched 1941 Robert Cheatwood. Oh, shit. Which apparently was the guy who built the house a long time ago. There were parts of that basement that in the 3 years I lived there, I never went into because they had this old jar cellar. What?
Oh, like a
Old jar cellar in the back that was so creepy that I couldn't even stand to go back there or even take a look at it. I was afraid I was going to find some bodies or something in there, so I just
You may
never
have.
yeah.
went over to that part of the basement. Then there's this part of the house that if you look at it from the outside, you see a normal window, but there's no way that you can get to that window inside of the house. What?
Oh my god.
Oh, it's creepy. Oh, oh, it's weird. I'll attach a pic. It's weird, you guys. I'll show you the picture.
Oh, there's a photo. I remember.
Yeah, apparently at one point in time they closed off part of the stairwell
To bury the bodies.
Shit. So they
I don't
so
like
they
this. I don't
what?
like this.
so they could put it in a door.
To where?
What?
To the body room?
So
To the
they could
ghost
put in a door,
world.
so they closed off that part of the house, and there's no way that you can get to that window
There's bodies in there.
from the inside of the house. I was always afraid I was going to look up there one day and see somebody staring at me, and I always had the feeling, but I never actually saw anything, so I tried as much as possible not to look at it. Fuck, I wouldn't either.
Oh my god.
The creepiest part, though, was one day I was talking to the neighbors across the street, and the lady said that her great aunt used to live there. Then little girl, she was probably about 10 years old, looks up at me and says, "Don't be scared of Aunt Betty. She wouldn't hurt a fly." Oh, fuck. It sent shivers through me. The final part of the story was that my next door neighbor, they told us they actually have a ghost in their house. They said that every night or most nights they hear a ball bouncing down the stairs, almost like creepy. There's a little boy that just dropped his ball and it goes down one stair to another, to another, to another, and it gets to the bottom and rolls away. And they said they hear this at least several times a week, and that was really creepy too. It is really creepy too.
Oh, I want to see
Michelle.
the photo.
What is with this window?
Man, that's creepy.
So these. It's really creepy.
It's
it does
so
look like from a
creepy.
horror movie. So no one can get to those windows.
That's
because
what she's
it's
saying.
blocked off.
Yeah.
So she was afraid that if she looked up there, she'd see a face.
Oh God.
You want to see the photo, Liz?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no face in the photo, but it is creepy.
That's really
It's so
creepy.
creepy.
In the house I grew up in, we had an unfinished basement that we were terrified of. And there was like a room in the corner of the unfinished basement that no one ever went in. My parents stored stuff in there or something.
Yeah.
And we were straight up terrified to even go in that basement. And to this day, I still have nightmares about it. Like, nothing ever happened, though. But, like,
Creepy.
just something about basements is really
Yeah.
creepy. And, like,
Dude.
parts of the house where no one goes or no one can get to.
I mean,
this picture is creepy.
yeah.
That
It's
is a house
weird.
from a horror movie.
I
Yeah.
don't understand why you would block off windows.
To bury your
To
bodies.
bury a body.
Obviously.
I mean,
Why
yeah,
else would you block off part of the house and no one could get to it?
Oh,
that
it's
seems
because bodies
really
are in there.
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
These are
Ooh.
really good stories people say.
You guys, this is good. I'm pleased.
Our listeners have sent some good stories. We have one more.
last story.
This is from Brian. Brian says, I have many ghost stories, but here is one of the creepy ones.
Brian, we want your other okay, Lenny Briscoe is like shaking the door.
God, that scared me.
I was very late one night. I was driving down a road called Niles Canyon. In parentheses, Brian says, a narrow 2-lane road through a canyon. Okay.
Fair.
Okay.
A
Good
short-
name for a canyon road.
This was a shortcut to get home. Then suddenly this asshole starts tailgating me out of nowhere with his high beams on.
Oh, I
Ooh,
hate
I
that.
do too.
I told myself he is going to hit me and then I'm going to die.
That is also something from a horror movie.
Yeah.
Where you're like, am I going to get run off the road and
Yep.
like kidnapped or something?
Oh, God.
And this doesn't seem like the best idea. I began to speed up and then decided to brake check him.
Nope, don't do
Don't
that.
do it.
No, you're in an abandoned road. This is how you get murdered.
Ay,
The
ay, ay.
driver, in parentheses, had his face blacked out. As I read the license plate,
What?
parentheses, it began with 4A, that's all I could remember. He began to tailgate me for a while and then began to slow down. As the distance grew, I saw an overturned car in the ditch with the same license plate, 4A.
No.
What?
No.
I passed the car in shock. I look in my rearview mirror, and right where the car was in the ditch, the car that was tailgating him stopped and turned off the lights. P.S. I live in the Bay Area. I've been told every inch of San Fran, except you guessed it, Alcatraz. Oh, I've been to every inch of San Fran, except you guessed it, Alcatraz. I honestly don't give a shit about it, and I had no intention of ever going there, ever. Even my relatives from other countries have gone multiple times. For me, he put in all caps, no thanks.
We hate Alcatraz.
Thanks for the entertaining podcast, Samantha and Liz. Keep up the good work. I'll send more ghost stories as I go along. Oh, and my dad has a connection with a case in Unsolved Mysteries.
Wait, what? We need to hear about that.
I know, and I'm pretty sure I followed up with Brian and said we would love some more stories. I can't remember if Brian sent them or not. I'll have to look in our email.
Okay.
Wow.
Those were really.
Those
I'm
were
shocked by how
good.
good those stories were.
Do you
Those
think
are really
that was
good.
the ghost car of the car that was in the ditch?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean,
That's scary. Don't brake check ghost cars.
no.
Great stories,
Those,
everyone.
I'm
So good.
overwhelmed by how good those were.
I know.
I thought people would be like, oh, I heard a spooky sound once. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I didn't think they would be this detailed and this
Terrifying.
creepy.
Yeah. I'm
Truly terrifying.
freaked out,
Yeah.
but I'm also excited.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Kara is going to maybe do a tiny tarot reading
Oh, yeah.
about our show.
Yeah.
or-
Yeah.
Oh, also, just a little self promo. If you're in the Minneapolis, Twin Cities area, April 8th, Sunday,
Yes.
April 8th, I am teaching a class about developing your psychic abilities, your intuition.
That's your birthday, Liz.
It's true.
2 o'clock, 2 to 3:30.
Ooh.
Where can people find more information?
They can find it on Facebook, Cara Morell Yoga on Facebook.
Spell your last name.
Marell. And it's $30, and that's an hour-long class, and everyone gets a mini reading, too.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Sweet.
Look it up, people.
And it's also Liz's birthday.
Yeah.
And I think
The
she's
best
doing
day.
something fun later that afternoon that I'm also going to.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm doing a really
Kara
good job.
did a reading for me on Halloween, and for the card for my present, when she put it down, it literally spins completely around. And then when she turned it over, it was the death card on Halloween.
Oh my
For my
God.
present, and it moved on its own.
That's insane.
Yeah,
This is for the podcast.
this was for the podcast.
This is the 5 of Pentacles, You have the High Priestess
Ooh.
as your present. And then the Four of Wands.
So that Five of Pentacles looks bad.
It's not great.
Oh no. Oh no.
But that's your past.
Oh.
So
That's before Joffrey stopped listening.
Yeah.
this was when these were the kind of the low times when you were
Okay.
to get to this point. You had the Joffrey incident, the cackling comment. You know,
Because this card shows two sort of disheveled people in the snow, which I
I don't think they're wearing shoes.
which
no.
is me and Samantha, I guess.
One's
in the
on
wintertime.
crutches,
We're disheveled. We're like Tiny Tim. We're walking through the snow past
tiptoe.
a nice window of a place that we are not.
Kind of looks like a church, but you're not in it.
We're not in it. We're
guys
out in
not.
the cold.
You're out in the cold.
Podcast failures.
You know, you win some, you lose some. You had a light technical difficulties.
True.
We did that incident with
true.
Greg and Josh. where we messed up.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so our
kinda-
past
the
was a little rocky.
Past was a little shit, but
Sure.
it's but
Sure.
but I see the High Priestess as like
That's us now.
it's good.
yeah.
It's good. This is very positive. Your present looks good to me. There's a nice balance between the light and the dark.
Oh yeah. So we're in harmony.
There's harmony. There's balance. And I like the High Priestess energy. That's like your feminine energy. It's like really charged
Yes.
up and you're like feeling it and the vibes are just really good.
we're fighting the patriarchy through
Fuck
unsolved
yeah.
mysteries.
I love it.
It's a good one.
makes
It's
sense.
very good. It's a very positive card.
Okay.
And then the Four of Wands shows kind of like a marriage or a celebration, like a union of two people who are like fucking kicking ass. You
Makes
can see
sense.
that their
That's
like
us.
arms
Yes.
are up in the air. They're like, there's maybe a huppah here, as Jewish people have, like for a celebration. It's good. This is a very
we're
good.
celebrating.
You're celebrating and you're getting a success. So I see
Wow.
good stuff.
This is great.
Yeah.
Your past was shit. Your future will be a celebration.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's you.
These are great. I'm getting great vibes for season 2.
Yeah. I think
This
it's
is
really
a
good.
perfect reading to have. We've finished season 1, which was apparently shit. But look at how great season 2 is going to be.
It's gonna be great.
High Priestess and celebrations. Yeah, you were walking on crutches before without socks on in the snow.
In the snow. Well, also, finally, sort of, maybe winter is slightly
I
coming
think
to a
it
close
is.
in Minnesota.
Thank goodness.
Thank you, because I finally come out of my winter depression. It
Yeah.
took only 4.5 months.
Oh, winter is rough.
So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to spring.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to season 2.
Yes.
So we'll have some new beginnings.
And there's water in the High Priestess thing, so like going with the flow and the movement and the cycle. And actually, it's the new moon tonight, so that's interesting that came up as well. And you see the moon, crescent moon.
So
down at the
it's
bottom.
saying the fact that you don't know what you're doing doesn't matter. Just
No.
go with the flow.
Go with the
You
flow.
started in the fucking Brooklyn Park Library, but look where you are now.
Yeah. Talking to Kara about the scariest ghost stories that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't be able to sleep. But the good thing is it's the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's the saving grace.
That's the positive spin on it.
Oh,
Also,
man.
happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day.
Is it true that St. Patrick supposedly ran all the snakes out of Ireland?
I heard that.
But I saw
But-
a post on Facebook.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, is snakes code for pagans?
I don't know.
I thought it was literal
I thought it
snakes.
was literal snakes.
Let me Google it. We're going to Google it.
Yeah. I mean, I literally just saw this on the internet, and then I was like, what a fucker.
Tell us Wikipedia.
But also, I don't think that St. Patrick was real, so I don't know that it
Yeah.
really matters.
I think it's
But-
mainly now just an excuse for
Public
people
drunkenness.
to be drunk.
Yeah.
And I don't like beer,
no, I don't
and
know.
I don't like green beer.
That's
No.
So
Nothing could be more disgusting to me.
those are two bad things.
A bro, like, shouting and vomiting green beer is the worst excuse for a holiday ever.
I'm going to an Italian restaurant tonight. That is my plan.
Sounds good.
So, St. Patrick was, according to Wikipedia, a 5th century Roman British Christian missionary and bishop in Ireland.
Roman British Christian missionary. What?
No, he wasn't.
Known as the Apostle of Ireland, he is the primary patron saint of Ireland, along with Saints Bridget of Kildare and Columba.
Columba.
He is also
sure, I knew that.
venerated in the Anglican Communion, the Old Catholic Church, and the Eastern Orthodox Church as equal to the apostles.
I don't know what
Seem
any
right.
of that means.
Yeah, that was a bunch of gibberish.
I'm a
to me.
heathen.
The dates
We
of
got
Patrick's life
driven out of Ireland.
cannot be fixed with certainty, but there is broad agreement that he was active as a missionary in Ireland during the second half of the 5th century. Early medieval tradition credits him with being the first bishop of Armagh.
This is so boring.
Okay, let me see if
Yeah.
I can get to the good stuff.
Wikipedia, get it together.
Legends. Legend credits St. Patrick with teaching the Irish about the doctrine of the Holy Trinity, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. And it's saying nothing about snakes. Oh, here we go. Patrick banishes all the snakes from Ireland. The absence of snakes in Ireland gave rise to the legend that they had all been banished by St. Patrick, chasing them into the sea after they attacked him during a 40-day fast he was undertaking on top of a hill.
Okay.
There's
40
legends about his walking stick growing into a living tree.
I kind of like that.
Nothing
do
about him
snakes
being a
hate
murderer.
fasting? Why did they attack him after his fast?
I have no idea.
They were like, boy, please, we're not impressed. Attack! See?
I have no clue about him being a murderer. His Wikipedia is extremely long.
It's
All
whack.
right,
Who
whatever.
edited that?
Whatever. Never mind. Let's forget I ever brought
Please
that up.
follow me on Instagram at Cara Morel exists.
Yes. As you should. Oh, we
Yes.
need a photo of our
Oh, yeah.
card reading here for
Yes.
the gram. So yeah, let us plug our stuff. You can find us at perhapsitsyou.com. We would love it if you rated us on what was formerly known as iTunes, now what was called Apple Podcasts for reasons no
What?
one knows.
What?
Is
Yeah.
that a real thing?
Yeah.
Are we podcasters? I don't even know this.
They like branched
Are
out.
we podcast?
They split off the podcast thing, so if you want to go give us 5 out of 5 Robert Stacks on that.
I would love to do that.
Okay. we only accept 5-star reviews.
Okay.
So.
Everyone else.
Everyone
Keep
else
your
can
reviews
fuck
to
off.
yourself. Yes.
Just kidding. Bless you.
On all the social media things where perhaps it's you. If you have some equally creepy, amazing stories, we want them. We might use them for a special. We might use them for our season 2 finale, which will happen one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
So that's perhaps it's you podcast at gmail.com.
Yes. If we didn't read your story and you sent us one, I'm sorry for losing it. Send it again and we'll read it
Yeah.
in the future.
In the future. And
This
was
was
amazing.
This was awesome.
was
You
so
guys, I had
fun.
so much fun.
Is there anything else you want to plug, Cara?
Please come to my art show.
Yeah.
Saturday, April 7th. If you are in the Minneapolis area, it's at Minnesota Nice as Fuck Salon, which is run by my
Shout out to them. They're
Yeah.
awesome. And follow us on Instagram.
Yes, run by my friend Jessica, who is fantastic.
that's where I
If you
go.
want to
It's
get
lovely.
super cool rainbow hair and stuff, she's awesome. So come check it out Saturday night, April 7th.
Are the details also on Facebook for that
They
one?
are indeed.
It's their 1-year anniversary.
It is the
So,
1-year anniversary party.
exciting.
We're gonna have
Cara's
live music and
the
art.
featured artist
Yeah.
for their 1-year anniversary show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I can't believe we've already made it through a season, Samantha. How did we do that?
I have no clue.
I don't know either.
We
So
managed.
And I am now really hoping there's no ghosts in this house, although there probably
Yeah.
are.
In your creepy basement?
In the creepy dirt crawl space that's in my basement on the other side of like a netting.
There was one. There's
We
definitely
can
one
cleanse
body.
it.
We could.
I've got sage.
We maybe should.
We maybe should, because I don't know what's going on there.
Sure.
Perhaps it's you.
That was beautiful.
I'm gonna save that and use that in the future.
Yeah.
Do we have your permission?
Yeah,
'Cause we're
go
gonna
for it.
we're gonna reuse that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Watch out for ghosts.
And drink your Smirnoff Ice.
Brought to you by Smirnoff Ice.
Brought to you by Smirnoff.
Smirnoff.